Starting with some news about Delhi's fight with the coronavirus, the LG appointed committee of 4 is to submit its report tomorrow on availability of beds, admission of patients at Delhi's hospital, infrastructure and mortuary management, and also the committee to brief the LG on Monday. So these are the pointers on which the report is expected to touch upon. These are on availability of beds, a huge concern. People are running from pillar to post, not getting beds. Also, how admission of patients are happening, what is the protocol that is being followed. A lot of asymptomatic people or people with mild symptoms are not getting hospital beds. That's the protocol being followed. What else is the problem? Infrastructure and mortuary management, something that the Supreme Court has spoken about. Rupashi Nanda getting us that news. Rupashi, more updates, more details.
The committee essentially was formed by the Lieutenant Governor on the 11th of this month and was expected to submit its report on the 12th. So today, actually, the 4 members of the committee have visited all the 4 hospitals, and essentially they have representatives from the SDMC. And then you have Dr. Mahesh Verma, who is the VC of GGSIPU, and then you have DDMA representatives and DMs of the particular areas. Okay. And apart from that, essentially, if you look at the kind of task that they've been given, it starts from admitting COVID-positive patients. It also has to deal with the functionality of all the associated medical equipment with beds in the hospitals. It has to deal with HR issues, that is whether there are sufficient people available, whether they are willing, if there are any issues that they themselves have, and also the the efficacy of the mortuary management. So the team is expected to submit its report tomorrow and will personally brief the Lieutenant Governor on Monday.
Rupashi, if this report is coming in tomorrow, are you getting any indication that when the LG meets the Home Minister, the Chief Minister, etc. at 11 a.m., he will be equipped with knowledge about what this committee has found out?
Yeah, the preliminary information should be available with him, and what I'm learning is that the LG's office has also swung into action in a decisive manner, and the LG's office is also taking more and more decisions, because remember, even the elected government, they also have a team in place to look into all these issues. But now that the LG has as in his capacity as chairperson of the DDMA, has appointed this specific committee to look into the issues that have been recurring in 4 major hospitals of Delhi. So that is also important. And there are, apart from Delhi Government Hospital, LNJP, which has been extensively reported about, but there are other hospitals also, like GTB, Safdarjung also over there. So yes, hospitals and the manner in which they are functioning in Delhi definitely coming under greater scrutiny from the Lieutenant Governor, and which essentially I would essentially also understand that even the MHA, that is Home Minister Amit Shah, probably wants a greater understanding of what exactly is happening or not happening in Delhi and what needs to be done.
Right. Rupashi, thank you so much for getting us that update. Rupashi Nanda, they're reporting that before the Lieutenant Governor meets the Home Minister tomorrow at 11 a.m., it is possible that he will have details about what this committee has really found out. Tomorrow, 11 a.m., Amit Shah is meeting LG chief ministers and the others. At 5 p.m. again, he's meeting the heads of Delhi municipalities, the 3 municipalities that are there in India. So that's the situation in the national capital, but there are other worries as well for the country, and that's on the border. Amid strained ties between India and Nepal, the Nepalese parliament has passed a resolution to amend the map that pulls in parts of Uttarakhand into their country. The amendment makes 3 regions, Kalapani, Lipulekh and Kalyani, as part of Nepalese territory. The revised map of the Himalayan nation includes 3 areas of dispute with India. This despite multiple attempts made by India to reach out to Nepal legislators in the past few days. The redrawing of the map covers a relatively small region high in the Himalayas, but it is certain to severely strain bilateral ties. Maha Siddiqui with me on the broadcast. Maha, very unfortunate that a country which we thought was our neighbor, we've often spoken about our common culture, family ties exist between India and Nepal, and yet the situation is going from bad to worse. Yesterday, Indians lost their lives because of Nepalese firing. Today, Nepalese parliament passing this. Any statement, strong statement coming in from India?
Well, we are expecting a statement because we were given to believe that once this whole process is over, then India will make a statement. India, though, has made 2 statements in the past. Once, when the Land Management Ministry passed this map earlier on, India had rejected the map and had called it unjustified cartographic assertion by Nepal It had also said that it has no historical basis on which it is taking claim to these territories which are part of India. After that, we have seen some amount of also, a reach out to Nepal, if I can put it that way, because on the 11th, that is just 2 days ago, when the Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Anurag Srivastava was asked a question with regards to the bill coming up for voting today, also whether India has reached out to Nepal over the same. He, in fact, tried to sidestep those particular questions by saying that India has already made its position clear on this matter. But then he went on to elaborate on the cultural, civilizational, and friendly ties between India and Nepal that have always existed. He also pointed out how there has been cooperation by India as far as fighting the COVID-19 pandemic is concerned. India has not only supplied testing kits, hydroxychloroquine, but also helped in repatriation of some Nepalese citizens from other parts of the world. He also pointed out, very importantly, Arunima, that India did not stop the supplies of any essential items to Nepal, even during the lockdown in India. Remember in 2015, when there was a blockade, this became a big issue between India and Nepal.
Right.
And a lot of people do believe that a lot of, or some amount of what is sometimes termed as anti-India sentiment that was generated in the hilly areas of Nepal was because of the economic blockade, which India always denied. India said that it has never imposed that economic blockade. It was because of the Madhesh protests that borders were closed, and therefore the trucks with essential items could not go to the other side.
But, given the fact that the Nepalese parliament has already given its nod, what changes on the ground?
Well, the fact that now these territories that we're talking about, Lintia, Dura, Kalapani and Bipu Lake, are overlapping now in maps of India as well as Nepal. And that certainly cannot be the situation between the two neighbors. They need to get down and discuss the issue, although India has made it very clear that these are Indian territories. But despite that, India has said, let's sit down and try to resolve this diplomatically. What has happened in Nepal, and this is what many analysts believe, that KP Sharma Oli has taken a very nationalistic stand to make his own position there stronger in Nepal. Both sides ironically say that they follow the 1815 or 1816 Sagoli Treaty to mark the border from Kali Nadi. But the inception of Kali Nadi itself is becoming a point of dispute now. In fact, so much so that KP Sharma Oli has suggested that India has tried to alter that, and has also said that India has built a Kali Mandir just so that they are able to mark those territories as its own. So these are also statements that have come in from Nepal, especially from KP Sharma Oli, that have not gone down well with India. Even a statement with regard to the coronavirus, which he had a bizarre statement, as many might say, that the strain from India is much more virulent than the one from China and Italy.
Yes.
All these statements, if you see them, point to one factor which has always been a point of worry for India, is that KP Sharma Oli shows a leaning towards Beijing.
All right, Maha, thank you so much for explaining that to our viewers. The Nepalese parliament has ratified that map. Parts of Uttarakhand is now being claimed by Nepal as its own. India obviously is not taking it quietly. There is tension now, and it's unfortunate that India is now facing tension on the Indo-Pak border, there's tension on the Indo-China border, and on the Indo-Nepal front as well. All is not well. Let's see how the government responds to that. But the bigger worry right now is coronavirus. As COVID cases are rising in the national capital, Home Minister Amit Shah will meet Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal tomorrow to review the COVID crisis in Delhi, one of the worst affected cities due to the pandemic. Delhi Lieutenant Governor Anil Baijal, Home Secretary Ajay Bhalla and MH officials will also be part of the meeting, along with officials of the State Disaster Management Authority. The Director of All India Institute of Medical Sciences and other senior officers will also be present. Meeting will start at 11 a.m. Shah will also hold a separate meeting with the mayors of Delhi. Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan will be present in both meetings, which will happen in the morning at 11 a.m. with the CM and LG, as well as the meeting at 5 p.m. which will be with the municipalities of Delhi. Rupashi Nanda back with us. Rupashi, what is it that we are expecting out of these three meetings? Anything we know about what the LG and the CM might propose as a way to get out of the current phase of crisis that the capital is seeing?
Well, we do not have any such details as of now, Arunima, but one thing that I can confirm for sure is that when the Chief Minister met the Home Minister, essentially he discussed in threadbare about everything that had happened in the meeting of the SDMA meeting that had happened the same day a little earlier, which means that he has also talked about the kind of physical and human resources that would be, physical infrastructure and human resources that would be necessary in order to manage the surge of cases in the capital, particularly also because the borders are open now, and the Chief Minister expects or anticipates that a lot of people from across the country will also come to Delhi for treatment. So that is one concern that has already been raised by the Chief Minister with the Home Minister. And the COVID situation in the national capital, the kind of preparations that have to be done in order to deal with the surge of cases will be the focus of the meeting.
All right. So that's what we know so far. 2 meetings tomorrow by Home Minister Amit Shah, one at 11 a.m., the second at 5 p.m. We will keep coming back to you with more details on that. But for the moment, Rupashi, thank you so much for joining us. At a time when coronavirus caseload is increasing in Maharashtra, the worst hit state due to the pandemic, the state government has cut COVID testing costs to half, and the new guidelines will now be applicable to all private labs. The new cost to get COVID test is rupees 2,200 at a hospital and rupees 2,800 for a test at home.
यानी हॉस्पिटल से पिकअप करना और रिपोर्ट देना RT-PCR का, इसके लिए 2200 रुपये, और किसी के घर जाके फिर घर जाना है तो उसका ट्रांसपोर्टेशन है, उसके लिए PPE किट यूज़ करना है, तो ये सभी लैब को खर्चा आ सकता है। तो इसीलिए अगर किसी के घर जाके करना है तो 2800 रुपये। तो मुझे लगता है कि 2200 और 2800, तो ये 2 रेट्स हमने फिक्स किए। ये पूरे भारतवर्ष में या पूरे हमारे देश के जितने भी राज्य हैं उसमें सबसे कम रेट, न्यूनतम रेट आज महाराष्ट्र में है।
And we have an update as far as India's overall COVID situation is concerned. Increasing random sampling method is now showing widespread infection in containment zones, especially in Maharashtra and Delhi, as well as Gujarat. House-to-house surveys and testing patients with severe acute respiratory illness like pneumonia has shown widespread of COVID-19 infection. Spread is seen even among regular cough and cold patients. Sneha Mordani is the one who's getting us those details. Essentially, what Sneha is telling us is that, the COVID infection seems to be much more widespread. Sneha, worrying news. There's hardly any silver lining there as far as fight against corona is concerned.
Yes, absolutely. And this was actually a strategy by the Indian Council of Medical Research to see the spread of the infection in places where there could be more susceptible population. And that's the reason why in containment zones and as per the testing criteria, highlight patients, which is influenza-like illness patients, and patients of SARI, which is severe acute respiratory illness. This involves pneumonia. This also includes patients who are hospitalized, have to be tested for COVID-19. So a patient may actually be in hospital for pneumonia discomfort, but has to be tested for COVID-19. The survey, like you mentioned, has thrown up some results that shows that the spread of the infection among these patients is actually fairly widespread. The maximum states reporting, the maximum number of patients of this nature with COVID-19 are Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Delhi. The positivity rate is fairly high in these particular states. Obviously, it shows that the infection is widespread. Also, in containment zones, we know that there are door-to-door surveys as well. In these surveys also, when on declaration of ALI-like symptoms, it has been shown in these places that there are patients of COVID-19, and the person could just be like, having some sort of a lung disorder for years, but is being diagnosed with COVID-19. So this shows that people who have, respiratory distress syndrome are very susceptible. This also shows that there is widespread spread of the infection in containment zones.
All right. Shreya, thank you so much for those. I think the Prime Minister is also worried. We have news coming in that the Prime Minister has taken a review meeting. Prime Minister has reviewed India's fight against COVID-19. Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a detailed meeting with senior ministers and officials to review India's response to COVID-19 pandemic. The meeting reviewed the national level status and preparations in the context of the pandemic. The meeting also took stock of the situation in different states and union territories, including Delhi. The meeting was attended by the Union Home Minister, the Health Minister, the Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister, Cabinet Secretary, Health Secretary, DGICMR and other related related officials of the empowered groups as well. So that's the news that we are getting. The Prime Minister has taken stock of the situation. Delhi, Mumbai, the capital of the country and the financial capital, showing the maximum number of COVID caseloads. Also, the Prime Minister's own home state of Gujarat and the capital city of Ahmedabad, maximum numbers getting reported from these three areas. So the Prime Minister has taken a review of what really is going on here, what is required to be done further in that meeting. Like we just told you, Union Health Minister, the Union Health Secretary was present, the Union Home Minister was present, Principal Secretary and the Cabinet Secretary were present as well. Along with other senior officials, the empowered groups which have been meeting constantly to try and advise the Prime Minister and the various cabinet ministers on what can be done to control the situation. They were present in this meeting as well. Maria Shakil is joining us live on the broadcast. Maria, tomorrow the Home Minister is taking stock of the situation in Delhi. I'm presuming that also was discussed when he met the Prime Minister today.
Yes, I think that this meeting was important, Nima, because the meeting was attended by the Home Minister, the Health Minister, Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister, Cabinet Secretary, Health Secretary, DG, ICMR. Were all present in this meeting, and hence it was more of a review meeting of the corona spread and also the management that is being put in place and the revision of guidelines that have happened as well. So what we are told now is that the Prime Minister in fact took cognizance of the recommendations of the empowered group on city-wise and district-wise requirement of the hospital beds, isolation beds which will be required, and has instructed the Health Ministry officials to ensure that this is made available for various states and union territories on a war footing. So certainly, because it's a revised strategy, there is a review that has happened by the Prime Minister, in which all those who are present, included the Home Minister and top officials who are part of this entire COVID management.
This meeting, Maria, also comes just ahead of the Prime Minister's next round of meeting with the state chief ministers.
Yes, absolutely. I think the next round of meeting with the state chief ministers scheduled for 16th and 17th. And if you look at the division that has happened, on 17th are mostly the states which are seeing the spike, the worst affected states, which includes Maharashtra, Delhi, the state of Tamil Nadu, and also Bengal, where we are seeing the spike in the last few days. And that is the reason why there is a clear division. The states which have relatively managed to have some kind of control in COVID and the spread of the virus, and the states which are largely which have those metropolitan cities, which are really the pockets or the places where there is a spike in the cases, and also the concentration of cases in many ways.
Right. Maria, thank you so much. One just hopes that states who are doing well, we can learn from their best practices, and cities like Delhi, Mumbai, which are constantly struggling, there can be some coordination between the centre and the state to try and ensure that patients here also don't suffer as they are at the moment. But we're shifting focus and taking you to the state of Karnataka now. Government of Karnataka officials, sources say that the state's Udupi district is emerging as the new hotspot. My colleague Stacey Pereira brings you this report on the situation in Udupi.
Udupi is one of those pain points for the Karnataka government, which is emerging as a new hotspot. In fact, just in the past 10 days, we've seen a huge spike in cases from that district, a total of 991 positive cases just from Udupi district alone. Of this, well, there have been people who have recovered, 474 being the number of discharges from the district, but that brings the active cases to 516. Now, well, just yesterday also this Udupi district has recorded about 22 new positive cases, but in the last few weeks they have seen a huge spike on a certain day, even seeing 204 cases from that district alone. Now, yes, there are definitely curbs in place, there are containment zones also in the district, but most of these cases showing up here in Udupi are from people who've returned from bordering states, that especially of Maharashtra, as well as international passengers who've travelled from Gulf countries like Kuwait and UAE.
Karnataka numbers relatively under control, but each state where the numbers are relatively under control right now should learn from the way Delhi, Maharashtra, Gujarat are suffering. I got the story of these two families in the national capital, which not only suffered in Delhi's LNJP hospital, but could not even give a dignified goodbye to their loved ones who died. Take a look at the traumatic experience that the Chandra and the Mukesh family suffered in national capital.
Rising corona numbers, patients running from pillar to post for beds, apathy, we thought we had heard it all. But the ordeal of two Delhi families is more horrifying than anything we have heard so far. On 6th of June, Santram passed away at Delhi's LNJP hospital after running from one hospital to the other as he increasingly became breathless. His family says Santram found little support at LNJP. His son transferred him from a stretcher to a bed, hunted for oxygen support and for doctors. But the worst was yet to come. Santram's body was shown to his family on the 7th morning, wrapped in a body bag and sent for cremation to Nigambodh Ghat.
बॉडी लाके हमने अपना चिता पे रख दी। अब उन पंडित जी को बोला, पंडित जी थोड़ा आके दर्शन करा दीजिए, हमारे घर से रिलेटिव्स आए हुए हैं। उन्होंने बिल्कुल स्ट्रिक्टली मना कर दिया कि सर फेस नहीं दिखाया जा सकता। हम लोग आधे रास्ते में पहुंचे थे, मेरे पास हॉस्पिटल से कॉल आया कि आपने अंतिम संस्कार कर दिया है क्या? मैंने जी मैम हमने कर दिया है। फिर सर कंफ्यूजन है कुछ, आप जल्दी जाइए उधर वापस और वहाँ एक बार कंफर्म कीजिए क्योंकि एम्बुलेंस में बॉडी पड़ी हुई है। वापस गए तो पता चला मेरे फादर की बॉडी वहीं पे ही है।
At the same Nigambodh Ghat, Meera Devi's son and daughter were running from one ambulance to the other, trying to locate their mother's body. The family says on 4th of June, their mother Meera Devi had complained of headache and they had taken her to Malviya Nagar Hospital, from where she was sent to LNJP.
वहाँ पे उन्होंने मेरे को RML हॉस्पिटल के लिए बोला कि आप वहाँ जाओ, उनका एक टेस्ट होगा। जो कागज वगैरह थे वो उन्होंने डॉक्टरों ने एम्बुलेंस के ड्राइवर को दिए, हमें नहीं दिए। अब जो वहाँ गए तो एम्बुलेंस के ड्राइवर हमें LNJP हॉस्पिटल लेकर चला गया। अब वहाँ के डॉक्टरों ने क्या करा, उनको लेकर सीधा अंदर लेकर चले गए और वहाँ पे उनको 2 घंटे रखा। मैं भी उनके साथ था, पर उनका कोई टेस्ट नहीं किया, कुछ नहीं किया।
From 4th to 6th June, Mukesh, Meera Devi's son, says he ran from one doctor to the other, trying to locate his mother, but all in vain. His repeated request for discharge was ignored. Even calls to PCR and Chief Minister's office to rescue his mother went unanswered. Finally, on 6th, he was told his mother was no more. Mukesh claims his mother was never tested for COVID, but doctors said she had died of coronavirus.
मुझे कह रहे कि तुम वहाँ जाओ निगमबोध का, हम वहीं आएंगे। जब हम वहाँ गए तो हम ढूंढ रहे थे, एक गाड़ी खड़ी थी वहाँ पे, तो उसमें एक थे, उनका नाम संतराम दिख रहा था। तो वो कह रहा मेरे से ड्राइवर, ये तुम्हारी मम्मी है। मैंने बोला मेरी मम्मी तो नहीं है ये। मैंने बोला चेहरा दिखाओ, तो चेहरा नहीं दिखा रहा। कह रहा चेहरा नहीं दिखाते। उसके बाद मैं हॉस्पिटल गया, मैंने ऐसे से उन्होंने बोला आप तो कह रहे हो कि मेरी मम्मी को वहाँ भेज रखा है, मेरी मम्मी तो वहाँ पे है ही नहीं। उसके बाद वो कहते हैं कि हमारी मम्मी को किसी और ने वो कर दिया,
Cremate कर दिया।
हाँ।
For these two families, there's no closure even after the ordeal that they have gone through. Santaram's family feels guilty that they became the reason why Meera Devi was denied a proper cremation. And for her family, they are still in complete shock. And these are not isolated incidents. Like the Supreme Court of India observed, for Delhi COVID patients who are dying, even the basic dignity in death is being denied. With Ravinder Kumar and PK Das, this is Arunima.
Horrifying stories there, but let's just get you what's happening in the rest of the countries. The Confederation of All India Trader sought the opinion of the Delhi Trade Association through an online survey regarding closure of Delhi markets. Over 88% respondents favour closure of markets to stop corona spreading amongst traders and their customers. The decision will be shared tomorrow. A 4-story building collapsed like a house of cards in the Daspur area of Bengal's West Midnapur district. The dramatic visuals show the building, which was built on the edge of an irrigation canal, tilt and then fall apart. No one was injured in the collapse since residents had already vacated the building. Army Chief General M.M. Narwane reviewed the prestigious passing out parade of 423 officers, including 90 gentlemen cadets from 9 friendly foreign countries at Indian Military Academy in Dehradun, Uttarakhand. 333 officers will be joining the Indian Army today after the parade. All precautionary measures were taken during the parade and the cadets were seen wearing masks. It will also be the first time that parents and relatives of the gentlemen cadets are not invited to attend the event in view of the COVID-19 pandemic. Safety measures have been beefed up in West Bengal Secretariat after 2 drivers working for senior officials were tested positive for the coronavirus. One of the 2 persons drives the vehicle of a joint secretary level officer posted in the finance department, while the other driver works for a senior police officer. Some good news, a 97-year-old man from Kaveri Hospital in Chennai, Krishnamurthy, has recovered from coronavirus. The local authorities said that recuperation has come as a ray of hope for the novel coronavirus patients. The 1923-born man was admitted at the hospital on 30th of May after he tested positive for COVID. All those stories also up on our website news18.com. That's it from me, but more news and updates, so stay tuned to CNN News 18.